What up, YouTube? We back at it again with something special. A first for my channel. I haven't done anything resembling an interview or conversation of the sorts ever. So, thank you for joining. And I just wanted to give a quick intro. I think I'll give another one in a second here, but I'm gonna say it many, many times. If you haven't yet, please jump over to Adam Calhoun's page. I will link it down below. Please go like and subscribe, and definitely check out his music. You're gonna learn a little bit more about him as we, kind of unveil a little bit. And we got into a little bit about his past and what sort of drives him and whatnot. But super interesting to do. Loved chatting with him, and we'll likely definitely if he's open and around and we connect again, have him on the channel again. So make sure you go throw some love his way. But without further ado, we'll fire it up right now. 3, 2, 1, go. All right, so we're live now. So, real quick, what up, YouTube? We got AC here. We got one of the biggest independents in the game. We're just firing up, and he was starting to chat about the reaction community. I feel like is a good time to sort of bring in the recording here. So, first and foremost, definitely run over to AC's channel. We're here to support each other. So definitely go like and subscribe. Definitely check out his stuff. I will say from my own personal experience with his music. Speaking of, I keep the Brave 2 in my car right now. I literally have a CD deck in my car. I'm not shitting you.
Oh,
I don't have one in my house. I don't have a CD player in my house, but I have this old Mercedes SUV that actually has a CD deck. I basically keep that in there because the basses turn way up and to scare people. Um,
yeah.
and then yeah, dude, it's wild. And you like so I go to the gym every day and I have like choice artists that I bring with me to the gym because it's kind of fire you up fucking music. And you're definitely one of those dudes. Anyways, what I was saying, yeah, go support AC, and of course, if you like what I do, definitely like, comment down below. Make sure you're subscribed. But we definitely appreciate Adam taking time with us, and he was just sort of explaining his sort of experience with the reaction community and what he's doing with working with us right now to share his knowledge and talk about his experiences and what he's got going on and what he's got upcoming, etc. So yeah, what were you saying anyways? What were you before I just flipped that on?
So what I was saying was, you were like, "How you feeling today?" And I was like, "I'm worn out, man. This is like my fourth one in the last literally 4 hours." And I said, "You know why I'm doing this?" And then I got up and got some water, but I came back and you asked, "Well, why were you doing this?" And it's really basically this: is all these signed artists, they go on all these talk shows and they're just constantly pumped in your face, and they go on the biggest podcasts that are, and I'm not signed. I'll never be signed. I'm 100% independent, and I always will be. I've been offered contracts that I've turned down. um and I was like, well, okay, if these signed artists are going to go that route, then I'm going to go this route as an independent and take my favorite reactors that I like, that are really good at reacting and really good at breaking down shit and really good at like hip hop knowledge. I'm going to go to them and do interviews or however they want to do it, because I never realized how much reaction channels actually shed light on not just popular independent artists, but lots of independent artists and lots of mainstream artists. So you might do a reaction to, let's just say, Jelly Roll, and the next one that's given to them is maybe a reaction you did by me, and they didn't even know who I was, which probably a lot of people don't know who I am that you react to, and I have gained a fan because of you and because of all these other reactors. So if you got thousands of reactors, you're gaining thousands of fans from these guys that are doing this out of the love for the game, or the love for rap and music in general. And it's like, let's go that route. Let's show love back to this community who actually helps promote our music. And it was never in my head before. Like, before, I would just like watching them and be like, man, these guys are awesome. But then I started thinking like, oh, these guys are helping my career. You know what I mean? It was fun to watch them and like, wow, these guys are saying great things about me. But it's more now like, oh, without these guys, giant chunk of the pie that's missing for independent music that lots of people wouldn't know who we are, you know?
Yeah, it's funny you mentioned Jelly Roll. Literally the last thing that I did on my channel was him and Eminem song, and I it was from the VMAs, and they
I was so sorry to cut you off, but that's my guy, and I was so upset to not see him on the stage. I'm sure he has other prior obligations, but I was so upset to not see because that would have been. I mean, yeah.
I mentioned that too. I'm like, I thought like and then you see him up there, and then I'm like, is he not in building? And I'm like, I guess he's got things to do. And literally the last thing he posted was like this, like the thumbnail is, it says like, I went back to jail. And it was like this thumbnail of him like with his thumbs up and holding a guitar. And like, he's probably making a joke about it, but like, that was the thing he posted like on his channel before this. And like, I watched that, and it took me, I got it. That video that I did got blocked 4 times by YouTube, and I basically had to say, look, like, just for copyright reasons, they wouldn't. And I even put like a disclaimer over it. And I'm like, so those videos, like, I know going in, if I'm doing like an M song or whatever, I'm not looking to monetize it. I'm just looking to promote it, whatever, and share it. Um, but it's funny because like I had to basically say, all right, I'm gonna fight this because there are other reactions to this exact same thing without any blockage on it. So it's like you guys need to be consistent. You can pick one or the other, but you have to pick a lane, right? So it's funny that you mentioned Jelly Roll. So um yeah, no, that's cool. That, I mean, it's cool seeing like artists that, somewhat appreciate, what we're doing. I mean, I never started my channel to try to like really make anything of it. I was kind of just killing time. I mean, I have like a full-time day job, so I do this, like, I wake up at 4 a.m., right? And then like I do some of this in the early mornings. I go to the gym, I'm at work by 8, I'm done 4 or 5 o'clock, and then at night I'll screw around and I'll do some more videos, right? So it's
What
kind
do
of
you
just
do?
I work with I work with a digital marketing company. So I
Okay,
basically
a
we
lot of brain work.
yeah, so I kind of work with at the client end. So I work with businesses and promoting their business via the web. So it's a lot of digital stuff and a lot of this types of nonsense. So I'm good at this stuff, but it's this isn't like my job. I don't It's not something I ever look to like make a ton of money off of, or really anything like that. I just to be honest with you, I had a girl in my office one time that was talking about she made money off of streaming herself playing video games, and I'm like, that's the weirdest thing I ever heard in my life. That doesn't make any sense to me. And
It's
I'm
real.
yeah, I'm like, are you really good at the game? She's like, no. And in my head, I'm like, she's not super good looking either. So I'm like, I'm not sure what the draw is here. So I went home that night, and I'm like, I'm like, I don't know how to play video games. That's not really my thing. Never haven't touched one since I was like 11. So I was like, I know music a little bit, so maybe I'll just watch music and see if people come along for the ride. But
Hey,
I don't know.
babe, there was this ugly chick playing games that sucked at the games and wasn't attractive. She's making money. I'm doing something wrong.
Not here. You got the great looking beard. Um, so yeah, I guess, I mean, you've probably told this story quite a few times, but for anybody that's on my channel that's new to you, they're gonna want some backstory. So we got to start with where you're from, growing up. So I got to ask questions about your upbringing and whatnot, your family life. You're from suburb Chicago or Illinois, right? Like outside.
Yeah, I live in like a cornfield. Uh, I live like 30 miles south of Chicago. I live just far enough from Chicago where it's country, and just close enough to Chicago where I can get to the city. It's like I said earlier, it's the city and the suburb and the hood aren't far from each other wherever you go.
Okay. So what in a cornfield gets you into rap?
Oh, that's not okay. All right. Um, so I grew up. I lived in a trailer until I was about 7 in Chicago Ridge, and then we moved into like a lower middle class suburb in Frankfurt Square. I was a square kid,
Okay.
and very proud of that. Uh, and what got me into rap was I didn't have a father figure, um, and I would be in my room, and I had younger brothers, a younger sister, and I remember first seeing like MC Hammer and like Vanilla Ice and thinking that was rap because I'm only 12, 11 years old at the time. And then I I kind of took a deeper dive and started seeing like all these different rappers that I didn't know at the time really what it was until I was about 14. I understood what rap was, and I understood what I liked, and it was a real East Coast flow, and it was all East Coast rappers, which is weird because I'm from the Midwest. But like that's what grabbed me. The first album I ever actually went and bought was a South type album. It was the Goody Mob Soul Food. I just really liked CeeLo that back then. He was so dope to me, you know. Um, that was the first album I ever bought with my own money. I think that was like 95, 94. And then the same thing with ODB. I asked for Christmas, and my mom, you know, we didn't get much, but what we asked for Christmas, we usually got a couple of things we asked for. And I asked for that album. It's Old Dirty Bastard, Return of the 36 Chambers. And I played that fucker till it was see through. And I think that was the same year, around 94, 95, when that came out. And then from there, I just went to Wu Tang, to Outkast, to um, fucking Big L, the Big Pun, the Master Ace, the AZ, the Nas, the fuck. I mean, you name it. All the DJ. I was 16 and DJ Clue was dropping all them fucking mixtapes with everything. I mean, it consumed me. You know, I remember I was going to school, driving to school with my buddies. You know, we're smoking blunts and shit on the way to high school. And you know, you got Bone playing, and I'm the only one in the car rapping every single word, like loud as fuck. Like I just love it. Just something about it was just so fucking cool to me.
There's some Bone songs I still don't know the words to because I just can't. Yeah, can't understand what they're saying. um,
Potato salad.
right, right. Um, that's cool. But then you got that country influence too. And I remember seeing something where you were talking about like I think this is right around when back when you did Second Rodeo, you were talking about how because you were putting some and you have over time put like some country influence into in and sort of intermix it with your rapping as well. But like how like and you would catch hate like for the country aspect of it, like you're not country or some shit like that, and you're talking about like how your grandpa, who I know is important to you and was a important figure, would like he give you like a country record and you just wear it out, right?
Yeah, so my grandfather would play these vinyl records of like bluegrass, like that old fucking school shit.
Slap your knee fiddle type shit.
Yeah, he played like old bluegrass records and stuff like that, and Conway Twitty, and my grandma loved. And anyways, I spent a lot of my summers growing up as a uh, kid and as a young teenager in Kentucky, in Pikeville, Kentucky, and my family's from Eastern Kentucky and Virginia. So I spent a lot of time out there with them, and that's not exactly where the country aspect came from. The country aspect actually came from my mom, her third husband, Ed. We were in a car one day and he was playing some song. It was David Allan Coe, and it almost sounded like a little familiar to me, like rap, the way he was rhyming words together with, but it was country. And he gave me David Allan Coe Greatest Hits album. And again, I wore that fucker out till it was see through. And that's what made me like country music. But I don't like this country music they make now. I like that old outlaw country music.
Yeah, yeah. Country now is a lot of it's gotten more poppy and it's all like you can sing about a dirt
I
road
mean, it's
across.
got 808s and shit in it
Yeah,
now. You know what I'm saying? It's like, it's not, to me, it's not country. It's very cookie cutter, the same type of shit over and over. But those old school guys, Waylon and Merle and David Allan Coe and, Johnny Cash, all the greats, and even, Johnny Paycheck, all these guys, this amazing country singers that were really doing shit back in the day. I mean, that shit was crazy. I like that, classic rock and rap. That's what I like.
dope. Yeah, no, I like that. So I think you're just a few years older than me. You got out of school in '98, right? So
Yeah.
where do you go from where you're from? Like where do you find a studio around where you're at to
The
record?
hood.
Yeah,
Yeah, there was no studio. I mean, there was no studios in the suburbs, so
Right.
there was no white boy like engineering or mixing or none of that shit. And that's where Mises, my friend Chuck, we went to the same high school. We met when we were like 16. He was the first person I ever rapped with, recorded anything with.
Back in the absolute days.
Yeah, he was, well, before that he was DVS, like that was his, it was like Devious but DVS. Then he was Absolute. Then he was Absolute forever. Then he was Cassetti, and then now he's Mises. So, but I always call him Chuck. So,
Right.
uh, we've known each other forever. Um, but yeah, I worked in Joliet at a Menards, and Joliet's predominantly like black and Mexican, so there was a lot of black dudes that worked there, and I would always be writing shit and rapping it and stuff like that. And one of these guys, his name's Leon Edwards, he heard me rapping one day, and he asked me to come through the studio in Joliet up on the hill between the first and second projects, and I went up there and I rapped a little bit, and they were like I didn't have it. Like I just I didn't have it. I was very fresh, And I brought my friend Chuck up because he was always freestyle. He was far advanced than I was at that time. And we just started rapping together, and he got me where I needed to be to where I could, start doing these battle competitions, and we started rapping together, and we dropped our first CD was like the ending 99, beginning of 2000. Um, and we did a bunch of shows. We opened up for like the Clips, Yin Yang Twins, like all this fuck shit, and we did the whole thing where they shopped us in New York to all these labels, and we went and met with A&Rs, and thank God we didn't get signed to anybody.
Yin
Our
yang.
lives would have been different, but yeah, man, my rap story starts with him. I
So
mean,
what
actually being an MC, you know what I mean?
what would you say like your ultimately like your drive was to really chase that? Because that's a tall goal for a white kid out the suburbs, and I'm assuming your drive has changed now. It's probably more your family and whatnot, but back when it was, what would you say kind of just pushed you to kind of make that your focus?
I was good at it, like, and I got good fast, and people were drawn to me. Like I had a presence about me, and I was like, oh, I got something here. There's something. I got something, and I always wanted to be some. I always, since I can remember as a little kid, I always wanted my words to mean something. I always wanted people to, my opinion to matter. Like I always wanted to be known. Um, and once I started rapping and knowing that I could do it, it like catapulted me. And then starting doing the shows and then getting people's reactions and responses. And we're the only white dudes at these shows. It's all blacks and that's it. Not even that's it. It was black people and us. And I don't like saying it like that, but that's how it was, man. Like, you know what I'm saying? Like that's just how it was back then.
Right.
Um, and the response that we got from a culture that we thought was, it's really hard to talk about because it's like I grew up listening to rap, so I thought I could be a rapper. I didn't grow up to listen to Eminem and being like, oh, he's rapping, I can rap.
Right.
I grew up listening to like Goody Mob being like, I could rap too, you know? And then being at the club, like the Cotton Club, and the whole audience is black and we're rapping and they're actually like feeling this shit. It was like, I'm a part of this.
Right.
Um, it just felt good, and I knew I had something, and yeah, I don't know if I answered your question, but I just knew I had something. And I could tell I liked it, and I could tell that I was willing to do anything to bottle that up and keep it.
So your drive there was just a, I'm assuming you enjoyed it, but if you're good at it, then seeing people's respond to that, that's usually enough to be like, all right, this is something I can actually make something out of, right?
Yeah, and then I found out real quick, being homeless and chasing my dream. I had a child. Taman was born when I was 19. And sleeping on couches and being in these different basements and being in these different neighborhoods that I'm not from, and being around, some of the people I were around that aren't here today, rest in peace, and some of them are in prison for the rest of their lives. But being around all that, I got used to it and I embraced myself fully into the culture, you know, and I forgot about my family. I forgot about my friends. I forgot about everything. And I focused just on this is all I got. And then when I make it, then I'll fix my friendships. Then I'll fix my family. Then I'll fix my son. I'll go and get him and I'll be rich. You know, as a kid, that's how I'm thinking.
So when you say when I make it, was there like a moment that you actually felt an instance of success, or like what's can you point to like a moment where you actually felt like, all right, I feel made in this moment. I feel like I did it. I accomplished this, or at least the first iteration of like this goal. Well, there he is. All right. I think he'll pop back in here. There he is.
Fuck, my phone rang. Yeah, when I first thought, I was like, okay, I'm on. Is in Joliet, people started buying my CDs. I was able to go to any studio that I wanted and not have to pay anyone. People were throwing me beats. People were giving me studio time. And when I would go to Camille's, they're shut down now, but when I would go there, everyone would show up. And it was like, and this isn't like a bunch of my buddies from the neighborhood showing up. This is like, you know, the hood and shit showing up, or like Joliet showing up. Like, you know, I thought, okay, like I could do this shit, you know. And then I started getting a couple, you know, a little money here and there for a show or whatever. And then I've never, I don't know if I've ever told this story ever. Sorry, man.
No, you're good, buddy. I'll just clip these things out. You get phone calls. This is no
Oh,
worries.
we're not live.
We're not live.
Okay. So I had entered this contest. Um, it was called The Road to Stardom with Missy Elliott. And it was cold as shit out, and the line was miles long. It was in Chicago, the audition. I was one of the last people to get in the building, and I was one of like 10 people they picked to represent Chicago. And I went back to work, putting in flooring, and I'm working with the guy that I call dad. His name's Pat Dwyer, the guy that I call daddy raised me. And I'm at work putting these floors together. Shit, I'm doing flooring. And it's back in the day when you had that chirp, that beep beep, and I could hear it. It's they're divorced, but my mom's like, "Hey, are you with Adam?" He's like, "Yeah, he's right here." She's like, "Go outside." So my dad came back in and he's like, "Hey, come outside real quick." And I came outside. He's like, "Listen, don't freak out. Like, don't get crazy." He's like, "Some Missy lady just called your house, and your mom talked to her, and she said you made it for the audition in LA. Do you know what the fuck she's talking about?" I'm like, "Missy Elliott just called the house." Like, you know, this is back in the day, bro. Like landlines. And I'm freaking the fuck out. I'm crying. I start crying.
Ooh, hell yeah.
I'm sobbing. Like I made it. I made it. I'm about to be famous. I knew it. I knew I had it. So, anyways, it's like weeks go by. I get flown out to LA, and we're all sequestered in this hotel, nice place. There's like probably 60 people there. And the very first night, they send like 40 people home after they do like interviews and all this other interaction. So there's only like 20 people left. The next day I wake up, I'm like, where the fuck did everyone go? They got us running around outside on tracks. They got us singing vocal. We're there for like, I don't know, like a week. And then finally, the last thing is we went and met all these record execs and like television execs, producers and shit. And I went home, and I'm waiting for weeks and weeks and weeks to get the call, like that I made it onto the Road to Stardom, the television show on tour and everything like that. And I got the call, and they said, "Adam, you didn't make it." And I thought it was over. It was like I was like the biggest. I was crushed, and that's when I started saying, okay, now it's on, motherfuckers. Like I was rejected. Now I'm gonna show you why you should have picked me. And yeah, that's actually the first time I ever saw that was I Yellow Wolf was a young man as well. He was actually made it onto that show.
Oh, okay. I didn't
Yeah,
know that about him.
yeah.
Nice. Um, so you obviously you mentioned, and I'm sure you tell this story often. But like I want to kind of touch on a little bit, or at least get for those that don't know this story that might be watching this, like well, a little bit about like hardships. So for one, like let's just talk. Well, initially, like what's like just being independent in general. Like obviously that's there's big differences with kind of doing everything yourself, right? Talk a little bit about like what struggles you kind of face there and kind of how you cope with that.
Everything.
Yeah.
There's no like I have no manager. I have no one to tell me I should or shouldn't do. I have I have two things. I have I
What the fuck is that?
think it's from iPhones when you do certain things. It like
Oh, I'm like, oh, I'm like, I did not do that.
so I have a booking agent that books shows, and he probably hates me because every single show he sends me, I'm like, no, I don't want. I hate doing shows. No, I don't want to do shows. I reject almost every offer that comes in. I have a booking agent, and where my music gets distributed through, That's it. That's it. But I have no. My name is on no paper. I have no name on a paper, on a contract, on anything. I can take my music and put it wherever the fuck I want anytime.
Yeah.
Um, and my good friend Ked Madsen, he was with 1 RPM when he left. You know, I I happened to go where he went, and because I trust him with my catalog. I trust when I call him, he knows what the if I'm like, hey, can you upload it? Like he does. That's it. That's it. That's all. I have a guy that books shows and a guy and a distribution. That's it. Like a distribution company, but I don't pay them shit. They
Right.
take a little percentage for distributing my music.
And the rest of it's just your money, your time, and your
My
effort.
every cent that you see, these videos that you see, every penny is from my pocket. That is first comes from the consumers, the fans' pockets. Everything I do, I put right back in from my money, my vision, my fucking energy, fucking my thought, my creative whatever. It's all comes from me.
Yeah. So going backwards, what I mentioned, like as far as like you're getting into trouble and whatnot, drinking, fighting, spending some time in prison. Um, so you were in prison for what, 2 years?
Yeah, yeah, totally. Like the actual prison I was at, I was only there for like 15 months. But like incarcerated before, like it doesn't really just work like that. You don't just like ship off to prison. Like uh I fought my case. My case is I had aggravated battery of great bodily harm to police officers. I pled out to a 3-year sentence. And in Illinois, you usually have to do half, so that's a year and a half. Anyways, long story short, pled out, got a week furlough, went back, turned myself in, and sat in jail for a month. And then I sat in Stateville for a month and a half. And then I finally got shot out to the prison I was going to. And I sat there for, 15 months. So, yeah, about a year and a half.
Gotcha. So I don't need to spend a ton of time. Speaking of, for whoever's watching this, guys, if you want, like, I think he's actually uploaded. He talks about like flushing the toilet quick in prison. He talks about playing spades. He talks about visitation and lack thereof. He talks about the people around him. So if go check out some of his videos he posts on his channel. He's pretty quick with, and he's got a lot of content that's not music. That's just kind of him talking about stuff like that. And I guess one thing that would be good to know, I guess for the purpose of just chatting right now. So was there any like, a lot of people sort of have this coming of realization if they experienced something like that? Was there like a takeaway that you could manifest, or I mean that you could, I guess you could turn into some sort of positive and use that as like a, you know what, I learned this and I could take this with me and this helped me in this sense moving forward, kind of thing, from that experience.
So the reason why I talk about prison isn't because I think it's cool that I went or I'm tough because I went. I talk about prison because it made a gigantic impact on my life because I had to go there and I couldn't go home. I had to sit there and deal with myself. I couldn't run away from my problems that were me. I had to look in the mirror and figure myself out. Did I lose you?
I'm here. Can you still, yeah.
Yeah, you froze. Yeah, I had to figure myself out. I had to figure what I was made of. I had to see how much I could endure in there. And you're away from everyone. It's not you're alive and you're on this planet, but you're in a different world, dog. And it made me be a man. It made me grow up. It actually did help me. It was probably one of the most. There's a few impactful things that happened to me in my life. Prison was the start of it. Prison, getting Taman and getting custody and raising Taman, having my daughter and marrying my wife. Those four things, and then having my son. So like five things that have completely changed the trajectory of my life forever in the best way possible.
Yeah, so you got two little ones, right? How old are they now?
So I just had my son is 5 months old. His name's Elsie William Calhoun. My daughter's name is Gray Millie Calhoun, and my son, my oldest, she's 3, and my son is 24 years old. His name's Taman Calhoun.
Right. Speaking of like family elements, with all the shit that you've dealt with, I imagine that puts a huge strain on relationships, right? And then even being an artist as well. Like, I mean, you're going away again in a week, right? You're
Yeah, not to prison though, but yeah, kind of like prison.
That's not what I meant. You got shows coming up.
Yeah,
But
yeah.
like I meant just like not just, I mean, prison's one thing, but like just kind of the life on the road. And I know that you said you hate shows and touring and stuff like that, but what type of, you know, obviously, I mean, both of those things, I mean, they're very separate, but like can put big, can cause issues with any sort of relationships, be it familial, friendships, professional relationships, I'd imagine. So what do you,
This
have you
whole
kind of,
career, my whole dream. Your dream is a beautiful thing to chase, and may you catch it. But just know that that shit does come with nightmares and does come with tons of stress, tons of pressure. It's not all fucking roses and beautiful. It's hard work and continual hard work until you feel like you want to stop. Touring, the reason I say I hate it all the time is because the amount of pressure I put on myself to go out there and do a good job. The part of touring I do love though is getting to see the people and like actually hug them and talk to them and look at them and shit like that. This career, when you're poor and have nothing and you're trying to make it, it puts a tremendous strain on you, everyone around you, your relationships, your family, your friends, your kids that I neglected. I was a deadbeat dad for years. And then when you do make it, it puts a continual strain on your wife, your children, because you're doing something that is big. You're trying to be something that's great. And there's this quote that like it's like I've met a lot of great men that weren't good men. You know what I mean? I'm sorry. I've met a lot of good men that weren't great men. And that's like it's weird. It's a struggle. You idolize this person and then you meet them and you're kind of let down by them. I never want to be that guy to anyone that meets me, that likes me, that follows me, that does whatever you want to call it, fan. And I never want to be that person to my children or my wife. You know, I don't want to be a good a great man that wasn't a good man or a good man that wasn't a great man. I don't want to be that. I want to find myself and the pieces that I've left all over the fucking place and pick them up and glue them back together and move on with my life and be just dad, man, at the end of the day. Yeah.
so yeah,
Did I just say a whole bunch of fuck shit right there?
No, you were making sense, man. I followed you were going there. It's about kind of where you envision your legacy, your kind of your footprint, right? And what you want, not just your fans to remember you by, but also the people that are around you, your loved ones and whatnot. I think I kind of followed where you're going there.
Yeah, just this puts a lot of. I'm not gonna sit here and complain. I have a beautiful life and family, and but it's because of what I put myself through, the fire I was willing to walk in, what everything I was willing to lose to get here, and thank God they stuck by my side. Um, but that's a part. That's the thing with your dream. You got to be willing. Not saying you're gonna lose everything, but you better be willing to. You got to be willing to. I didn't see my son for years. I didn't even know my son back when I finally seen him.
Yeah,
I seen him in prison as a broken man. He's seen me. Um, so the chasing down dreams. The reason why there's not a lot of people that make it is because it's treacherous and it takes a lot out, and people just quit and they give up on their road.
yeah. Um, so we got Pale Horse coming up next. So right. So that's pre-orders are already available, right?
Yeah. Pre-orders available. I don't know when people are going to see this, but when it's the shit's going to be about to be out in midnight tonight, and it's going to be everywhere you listen to music. If you want to go listen to it for free on YouTube, go listen to it on YouTube for free. I'll be cranking out music videos for it. It's a beautiful album. It's one of my best complete. I hate when people are like, this is my best album. This is my best album. This is like a complete album that shows who I am as the more human side of me with a little bit of aggression. Plus, I got to do it with my brother, who I started who I started being a rapper with.
Yeah, yeah. That's so. I mean, this whole year you've been dropping fire. It's with this. So you've got Mirrors and Glass House are already out on YouTube. You're dropping one more tomorrow, right?
Yeah. I lost my mind.
Lost my mind. Okay. You got you're speaking of which I love your verse on Glass House open up. That verse is fire. Um,
Man.
but all right, so yeah, so we'll definitely check that out. So that's available. So this will go live tomorrow. I'm gonna try to get this up, and so by the time that this is live, guys, go pre-order, go order, um, wherever you can find your music, wherever you get your music, stream your music.
I
Definitely
don't
go
care if
check
they
out.
steal it. Steal that shit.
Just go steal his music.
Yeah.
It's Pale Horse. Check it out. I'll link it below. By the way, I'll link um to I'll grab a link from Adam and we'll send you to where you can get it. Um so yeah, I was so what kind of like we were talking for a second there about like well, speaking of which on the album, do you have any like favorites off that, or is it the whole thing you love, or
Number 10. Uh, it's called Judas the Liar.
Judas the Liar? Sick. And you've got obviously you've got Mises featured on there.
No, no, no. Mises is
Well,
it's
he's a co-collaborator. Sorry.
it's our album. Yeah.
You got Struggle featured. You got Caitlyn featured. I think I saw Bubba Sparks featured, right?
Dusty Lee.
And just okay. Speaking of features, you've worked with a lot of artists.
Yeah.
Do you have like, and this is probably a loaded question, but like preferences or just people you just vibe with that you love working with, routinely, or I mean, because if you throw back your catalog, you've worked with a ton of artists.
Yeah. So I do that for. I like work. The thing that I've realized the most about independent music is every time I put out a song, someone said this song would have been good if this person was on it. This song would have been good if this. So I started realizing, oh, people want to hear their favorite rappers with their favorite rappers and working together. So I've always been a huge advocate for independent artists, especially working together, because it's just going to be bigger than if we were by ourselves. It's going to be stronger, and we can compete more with the mainstream. Um, so I've always liked working with other people too, because I become better when I work with them. I figure more out about myself, and I get a little better at become a better rapper, being around rappers all the time. Um, and I think the person that's made the biggest impact on me besides Chuck, as far as like when we were kids and we were rapping, is Tom. Just being around him and you know, him and me pushing each other, you know, and boxing with each other with these lyrics and these pens and yeah, I mean he definitely made it competitive to where it was like, yeah, this is, I gotta fucking go. Like we're writing verses, rewriting verses, and at least I was, and it leveled me up for sure. And I'll always give him that credit. He's a great rapper, great artist, makes his own beats, good producer. Um, and that's why I wanted him on Mirrors, because it was a rap song. It wasn't a political song. It wasn't a societal song. It was a rap song. And I wanted people to see what I see in him, which he's a fucking amazing rapper, and that's what he did on that song.
Yeah, he has over the, in the past couple of years, he does what, he does his Tom stuff and whatnot. But yeah, I mean, if you throw back, his discography, it's, I mean, dude can spit for sure.
Yeah, he's a fucking rapper.
I don't think that's lost on anybody. Yeah, and I think another thing with working with other artists, besides like you and Tom, it's like the competitive nature of just pushing each other and whatnot. People might tell you like, we'd love to hear this on it. I think some of that may just be a contrast too, because like throwing a female on like Caitlyn, or like Struggle sounds nothing like you sound, so it's like having like different types of vocals that
Yeah,
that follow
texture.
up. Yeah, exactly. You know better than I do, but I think that's nice to hear on tracks when you hear different styles, different textures, as you put it. So, um, no, that's cool too. So when we're talking about like legacy and footprint and stuff, do you have like in your mind like a sort of a final goal, or do you ever? And I'm not talking about when you're going to be done doing what you're doing, but like, do you have like a how you want to sort of leave things when AC's done with the rap game? Like what, or do you never feel like you'll be satisfied?
Fuck, no, I don't think I will be ever satisfied. Uh, there's a big part of me that wants to say I'll never be satisfied, but then I got to remember the reason why I'm never satisfied. I purposely do that to myself to keep myself competitive. So I think when I'm done and I'm not being competitive anymore with music, I think then I'll finally get to enjoy what I did my career. Does that make sense?
Yeah, it does. It's like you kind of don't know yet, but like maybe sometimes for some people it's like when that moment happens, I'll know then, but like I don't really know now, sort of thing.
Yeah, it's like I'm carrying around a shield and a big ass sword, and when I can finally drop that motherfucker shit, I can probably sit and be like, "Wow, this feels good. Let me
Yeah,
go back and look what I did." you know, like you know,
I hear you.
it's heavy to carry around. It's a pressure, man. Like there's a lot of people that want to support me and love what I do, and then there's people that are waiting for me to fail, and I don't want to do that. I want to walk out the door on my own and finish this how I want to.
Yeah. So you said like, all right, so you picked a favorite song off of the album. Do you have a favorite song in general that you've done?
Yeah, I think my favorite song. I wish I could make a whole album like this. My favorite song that I love to perform, love the crowd interaction when I perform it, and actually the video I love is Clean Money.
Clean Money's great. That was, yeah,
It's not a rap song. It's not like a rap song.
right.
I like that vein. Whatever that is, I wouldn't even know if that's really country rap. That's just really cool sounding.
You have a bit of stuff like that too, where it's not
Yeah.
entirely rap, but you do kind of you mix sort of rap style in there, but like in a different kind of context. It's not just rappers.
Whatever that is, if I can recreate that a bunch of times, it's a rap.
Yeah.
That's what I think that song to me is and I wrote that song in like 15 minutes, man. This is crazy.
It's funny. I think a lot of artists have like songs that they don't think twice about until like they get through it, and then they see the response on it, and they're like, it took me like 11 minutes to write that. Like,
Yeah, that one came just natural. I mean, it was just and I dedicated that to the guys. That shot, it was shot in the plant that I worked at. I dedicated to those guys. Like it just came from the gut, the heart, and bam. I love that song, and it was a cool part. It was more when I had more fun with my career too, when we shot the video and everything. You know.
It's good messaging too. I will say that like and a lot of the reason like I probably gravitate and a lot of people probably gravitate towards your music is like it's a lot of rap and especially like your mainstream shit. A lot of you get a lot of like well you have people that you have ghostwriters and then you have like just shit that like you're rapping from most of the time from experience and emotion. So it's like it's something that you can feel when you listen to an artist that actually experienced things or has like an emotional attachment to certain topics. A lot of the times, I mean, especially nowadays, you get shit,
Oh, you're
rapping
talking about
about.
ghostwriters that write for other people. That's not their story.
Yeah, I'm talking about like a lot of mainstream and a lot of the rap you hear
Yeah,
on the radio. You hear a lot of and they'll just rap generic nonsense about guns and drugs and bitches and yachts and planes and shit. So
yeah.
um it's
Which
cool.
hey, I like a lot of that shit too. I can't
Right.
help.
I would love the opportunity for myself to be able to say that I can rap about a yacht that I own, but I don't,
Yeah,
unfortunately.
yeah.
So I also don't rap. Um, cool. But anyways, yeah, I was just, I was just saying, like, it's cool. It's cool to hear that, and I as a fan of yours, I think it's you do feel that kind of that raw attachment to emotions and experiences for sure. If you're speaking on some shit you've been through, if you're talking like something just verses that you write like on mirrors and shit, when you're talking about just looking yourself in the mirror and experiencing if it's talking about mental health issues and depression, and it's if you're talking about issues you've had in your past, good or bad, you can definitely tell if somebody's kind of live that life or not. So
One
I
hundred
think
percent.
yeah,
I'll tell you this: for most of my career, even when I was younger, I have been just squeezing the juices out of the anger and putting that on the tracks. Now and for the rest of whatever I do, I want to be able to squeeze out. It sounds weird, squeeze it. I want to be able to produce and show people every part of me, not just the anger, like everything, not just the chip on my shoulder, the compassionate side, the part of my side that is lost, the part of my side that has love. Give them a little bit of everything that I got. I constantly hit them with this tough guy, anger, confused, lost, chip on my shoulder guy. It's time now, and my age also, I'm 44, to hit them with what I've learned now through life.
just just open the curtain a little bit.
Yeah.
I gotcha. Yeah, I get that kind of that, and it seems like especially in the last year, especially, but like it seems like you've been like kind of playing around with some different things, not just like I mean like adding different whether it be inserting something of a country theme into a song and then like just in topic wise as well, playing around with like different topics, different genres, if you will. I mean, and the stuff that you had said like with Clean Money, like you don't really know what to call it, but like kind of just trying different things out, rather than just that like tough guy yelling sort of rapping and stuff, the anger driven type stuff that some of the stuff might come off as well.
Yeah, I've made a lot of that music. I look back at a lot of my catalog and I'm like, I'm proud that I made all this music, but I'm also like, man, right now I'm getting to be like the best I've been at this. I'm like, the level that I'm at now I'm at a very competitive high level of rap right now. I can rap with anybody.
Dude, I I know that. We seen it.
But
So
I never let myself know that. I never believed it. But all the work that I put in the years and the stress and the pressure and the at home and out, not at home and on the road and gone and my mind kind of gone. Like I earned and deserved the spot now to say, yeah, motherfucker, you could rap, bro, and I could rap with the best of them.
dude, hell yeah. I can't wait to see with you running with that kind of attitude, what's coming up next. Beyond Pale Horse here, and you got your you've got shows coming up. What do you got planned for the future? Anything on the books yet, or
What do you mean show? Well, I gotta go do this run real quick with Brantley, and then I already started. Like I said, I have a booking agent. He already started putting together a tour for next year, starting in April. And he keeps calling every day, and I purposely am ignoring that call because I know once I commit to that, That's a huge commitment, man. Going on the road and touring how I tour, you're performing Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, Saturday, Sunday. 5 days a week, 2 days off. Every day you wake up in a different place. You're like, where am I? It's fuck. You went to bed at 4 o'clock. You woke up at noon. What are we eating? I got to go run. I got to get a lift in because you got to keep your mental health right, right? Another stage, another person, another sound check, another fucking, and then boom, you go to sleep, wake up. Where are we? What time is it? What time zone are we? Like, it's like tour is when you're done with tour, you come home from tour. It's like you just came home from hell. Like literally, every night, people cheering for you. You get off, you're hugging people, signing things, line of people. I'll sit there all night till 3, 4 in the morning signing shit. Go to bed, do it the next day all over again every fucking day. And I don't do drugs or drink, so I just like out there and I'm fucked after this. Maybe that's why they do drugs and drink on the road. But I'm sober. I come home, I feel like I'm dead, and then my family is like, "Who is this guy walking around our house? He's some fucking zombie, fucking fucked up dude." And then it takes me a month to acclimate back to being home and a sleep schedule, and like knowing it's just a fucking tour. You're talking like 3 months and straight being out there, man. Like,
Well, if you make it out west, anywhere near me,
yeah, next year we're out there. We are out there.
Okay, I'm in Arizona, so I can get anywhere around here, really. But
yeah,
yeah, I mean, there's California, Vegas, New Mexico.
We did Vegas last year. We did California, or 2 years ago. We did California. We did Phoenix. We did, yeah. I mean, I'm coming back next year, 3 months straight on the road, and I'm not looking forward to it because I know how much of a commitment it is. It's not like, okay, I want to go home now. It's like, no, you still got 50 shows left, dog. You know what I mean?
Jesus.
Yeah.
Yeah. All right. Well, I know you're running hours back to back to back here. Anything else you wanted to tell the people I haven't asked, or anything I might have forgot to mention?
I'm happy to be here. I'm happy I get to talk to people like you, and I'm happy that I have an audience. You know, there's a time as a kid I would jump on stage, and the only guys that were there were the people that were performing. They were watching me perform, you know. And now I have a platform, and I have people that are watching me, and I should enjoy it more. And talking to you and talking to other people today, you know, that's what I'm going to start doing, is enjoying this shit more, and you know, showing people the other side of me that is very thankful and happy to be here.
I'm personally thankful to have you here, and I'm sure everybody else will echo that as well. I appreciate it very much. I don't, like I said, I'm not a journalist. I don't interview people, so I don't know what the fuck I'm doing. But you've always been really supportive of my channel, everybody else's, so it's definitely appreciated. And we will all continue to support you and your music. You're welcome on my channel anytime.
Hey, if you ever want to do this again for anything, let's go.
Yeah, I might dude, I mean, if we could do this shit whenever I mean, if you got big drops coming up or whatever, I'm happy to do it.
Fuck a drop. If you're chilling one day and I'm not busy, you want to do a live, we'll just go live and do this right here. Just talk about rap or what you're reacting to or what you're doing. Like, talk about your channel, fucking whatever.
I love that. I might take you up on that.
Yeah, definitely take me up on that.
Appreciate that very much.
Yeah.
Cool. Well, we'll let you go here. And I'm gonna get this edited. Make sure, guys, that you run over to AC's channel if you haven't already. I'll show up at your door and punch you in the face. But for real, go subscribe on his channel. Go check his stuff out and throw it back. He's got a ton of stuff on there. So definitely go explore his catalog. Of course, love to have you here. Please like, comment down below. Make sure you're subscribed. AC, appreciate it very much, man. Much love. Yeah, we'll keep in touch, man. Have a wonderful rest of your day. Thanks again for joining.
Much love. Thanks, guys.
All right. Thank you.